Town of Seabrook Island is dealing with residential growth. Today, I talk one-on-one with the Town of Seabrook Island Mayor, Gregg, for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Seabrook Island Mayor Gregg, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Welcome. I'm happy to have you here. I know that obviously you were elected the 10th mayor of Seabrook Island in November 2019 and was actually re-elected to a second term last year in November. And prior to that, of course, you served 3 terms as a member of town council from 2013 to 2019. And you served as mayor pro tem and as chair of public safety committee during your 3 terms on town council. Who is Mayor Gregg these days?
Well, I'm pretty much the same person I was from probably my first election to town council. I was invited to run for town council by 2 of the town's former mayors. Frankly, I had low expectations that I would be elected, but as it turned out, I was elected, and my immediate predecessor had suggested to me that he would like me to serve as the public safety official, and I had responded to that by saying, well, I have no experience in public safety, but he assured me that it would be something that I would learn in the course of my role as the public safety official. So one of the functions as a public safety official is, as I found out, was the annual updating of our comprehensive emergency plan, which it's voluminous. It addresses more than hurricanes. It addresses all manner of disasters, flooding, hurricanes, tsunamis, earthquakes, and other natural disasters as well. As the public safety official, I have a role under that plan for emergency response for the various, or I had a role under that plan for the responses to the various natural disasters that were contemplated by the plan. And as mayor, I am now what's referred to as the executive official under those plans. So my role has changed. Of course, I no longer chair the Public Safety Committee, but I am nevertheless maintain responsibility for a role for emergency response for the town. So that is a change that comes with being elected mayor. My role relative to emergency response has changed, and then, of course, I now have the responsibility to preside over council meetings, whereas before I was on town council and I participated in all the council meetings since my original election. So I'm trying to maintain, I will say, a good attendance record so that, part of, there's an old expression that, a good part of your grade comes from showing up. So, I think it's important to make myself available as needed in my role. And of course, we have new challenges on a regular basis for the town, besides disaster preparedness. Of course, we have a population of people who are primarily, I would say, in their retirement, but we also have growth in the younger age groups, people that are here with actually children that might be school age. So they're not here year-round, so in such large numbers, but still we do have some of those people. And so you do get a mix of, I'll say, focuses of interest from diversity in the population. So you will understand that that presents a number of things that come up on a regular basis from day to day that, of course, before I was mayor, they really weren't my responsibility.
Right. And then let me ask you, because I've known about Seabrook Island as long as I've, been here in Charleston, born and raised here. But what are the numbers when it comes to the retirees, and what are the numbers that comes when it comes to the younger population that are actually visiting?
Well, I couldn't quote you numbers. Our population is dramatically increased during the summer when we have people visiting that may be owners of properties that are taking advantage of a summer break for their children from school, and they come and spend more time here. They may be here other times of the year, but it can also be what we refer to as rental guests. We have a healthy market for vacation rental properties. And so our population swells dramatically during the summer. But I think the number of people who are registered voters is somewhere in excess of 2,000. I can't give you the exact number.
Wow. And Mayor, you talk about those rental guesses and whatnot. And, that's a big thing here in the Charleston Tri-County region. Where do you see that market heading next for the town of Seabrook Island in the next 5 to 10 years for rental guesses?
Quintin, you're breaking up a little, but let me try to. If I'm not answering your question, you may have to repeat yourself.
Okay.
But we have what I would describe as a healthy market for vacation rentals here. The towns was the first planned development in Charleston County. We have somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,600 properties as a result of the planning. So we're not expanding. The town isn't growing. Currently, we're not annexing properties, so we're not geographically growing, and we have not yet achieved what we refer to as build out of of all the properties that were part of the early planning. So we're probably somewhere less than 300 properties that remain undeveloped. Some of those properties may not be really suitable for development because of shapes and sizes of the properties and requirements for setbacks, especially in a coastal community. As you may understand, if you've been here, then you will know that we have to deal with the required setbacks from OCRM for whether it's creeks or marshes or whatever it is. There are stringent requirements for those setbacks, as well as the setbacks that are established under our zoning regulations. So all I'm saying is that with fewer than 300 properties remaining to be developed, it's likely that not all of those properties will be developed for residential uses.
And Mayor, what will those other properties be used for? Mixed use or commercial?
Well, one of the things that has been happening consistently is properties are given over to conservation. So what happens is we have a local Seabrook Island Conservancy that properties may be donated to it or it may acquire, and then the Conservancy transfers the property to the Property Owners Association subject to restrictions, deed restrictions that would preclude development. So again, I'm not saying that of all the properties remaining to be developed, they're all going to wind up with the restrictions prohibiting development. I'm just saying that will take up properties in some number that are probably not suitable for development. They'll just be limited to preclude development by deed restrictions.
Right. And how many of those properties are you all looking at in that particular phase right now?
Again, I don't have numbers on the number of properties. As I say, this comes up not by anything that the town does itself, but a property owner. Unlike our neighboring island, Kiowa, we don't have a developer here. So the properties are owned individually. Of course, a property may be purchased by someone who's going to build on it, and then they'll construct a residence and sell the property, or they'll have the property, they'll acquire the property to build a residence and find a buyer and then go forward with building. But I guess my point is this is something that we accept as part of our future, that some properties will not be developed. I just can't quote a number.
And let me ask you, how do you currently accommodate the Seabrook Island community in an environmentally and physically sustainable manner?
Well, you may be familiar with this. The Seabrook Island Property Owners Association has been recognized as having, this is recognized as a sustainable community. And of course, I would say what the criteria are for that recognition are a matter of the authority or the agency, whatever you want to say, that gives the recognition. As so far as I'm concerned, from the standpoint of the town, we have property outside of the property owner's gate on what's, it's the main road into town, Seabrook Island Road. And on Seabrook Island Road, we have a parcel where Town Hall is located, access to Seabrook Island Road for the Bohicket Marina, and there are residential properties at Bohicket Marina, as well as, well, there are fewer now operating, but there was a change of ownership of the marina, and there are retail establishments there, as well as the facilities, the docks and so forth that are part of the marina. So, to me, it's a mixed use sort of property, and the owners of the marina have acquired a property where they are planning to develop what they characterize as a yacht club that has frontage on Betsy Harrison Parkway. So there will be, we know there are going to be substantial changes at the marina. I'm not aware of any plan to eliminate any of the residential properties there. So, again, it's a problem of, well, what do you mean by sustainable? We do have nearby is Freshfields Village. So yes, that's a reasonable sized shopping center with a grocery store and other retail establishments. As I said, we have the marina. They have some retail there and residential as well. So, community is sustainable when it has the things that people need to have a place to live. And I think that certainly within the realm of the Property Owners Association, there are many retail residential properties. Yes. They also have a facility that we refer to as the lake house that has exercise capability, swimming. I believe they have basketball courts there. So there are, and then we have a privately owned club which is has two golf courses as well as racket sports. There's a racket sport facility. I guess the entrance to the racket sports facility is just outside the property owner association gate. But in any case, membership in the club has been mandatory since 2005. So people that acquire properties here become club members, and then they have access to, of course, all the amenities that are offered by the property owners association, as well as the amenities that are available through the club. So,
Yes, sir.
it makes for, I think, a fairly well balanced mix for residents.
Yes, sir. Mayor, I know you mentioned it. You mentioned town hall and the parcel right nearby. I know that your town hall is currently at functional capacity. Where do you hope to create an increased administrative space to allow for expansion of town services on the island?
Well, we have grown slightly, I'll say, our staff for the town's government. We have a fairly new hire for the groundskeeping and building maintenance. We're pursuing the construction, well, the design right now. We're pursuing design for a garage that will house, I'll say, the building and grounds equipment, as well as parking space for town-owned vehicles.
Right.
And at least some of the thinking is that we may have, in that design, we may have some additional office space. But at this point, we haven't defined what we're going to be building. We're planning on adding a garage to provide space that we need. And then town hall itself is probably, I guess you could say it's been there long enough that it's something to consider replacing town hall, but we haven't really been moving at a great pace to address how we might go about doing that. There is space in town hall on the second floor that's not used for offices, but depending on what we might be able to do with some storage of things that we retain, there is room up there for at least another staff member. Now, I have been in I refer to it as the attic. Yeah. So the access to the attic is not really particularly well suited for people that come to town hall to conduct business, but nevertheless, we could have staff located there if the need arose.
Mm. And Mayor, do you all actually have money in the budget for a potential new town hall?
We haven't been budgeting for a new town hall. We do budget annually, of course, and as I said, we're contemplating building a garage, so we have budgeted for that project.
Yes. Oh, yes. And have you put out any bids yet?
Well, we're looking to sign up with an architectural firm. So at this point, we don't have any design to work from, and we don't. So of course, we're not putting anything out for bids for construction, obviously.
Yes, sir. And I know we're having some technical difficulties here with the Wi-Fi, so I hope I can get you back on later in the fall, God willing. But let me ask you this. What's more important for the town of Seabrook Island right now? Building new homes and commercial space, or rehabbing, expanding, and better utilizing the existing homes?
I can't say that I'm aware of a great number of properties that are being complete teardowns. I think as properties turn over, you will understand that the new owners come in to freshen things up. There are challenges to adding on, of course, because of restrictions on setbacks and so forth. But it's not at all unusual that people will come in and when they buy an existing residence, they come in to freshen things up. So,
Right.
That's pretty typical.
Yes, indeed. And how many of those
And
homes?
there are hundreds. The turnover in properties in the last couple of years has been in the hundreds. So,
okay, that was my next question too. And what's next for Seabrook Island? What's new? What's now? What are you all working on besides, obviously, all of these things that you just mentioned?
well, I think we're probably concerned most with, I'll say, the management of residential, call it growth. It's as I said, there are probably fewer than 300 properties remaining to be developed, but in any case, we do have a brand new development standards ordinance that controls how properties will be developed. Essentially it was a 3-year process to get that ordinance in place. And we're going to be living with the new ordinance, and we're going to be learning. We don't have a lot of experience yet with the new ordinance, so it's going to be a learning process as we move forward in time to make sure that we have, I'll say, appropriately addressed how things will be developed going forward. But that's, it's a very important role for the town.
Sure, sure. And how should you all go about that right now?
Well, as I said, we replaced the development standards ordinance, and of course we had a development standards ordinance that we relied on, and when there's an entire process that's laid out by the ordinance about how people go about getting their properties developed. So it takes, I'll say, substantial planning. Someone that wants to build is going to have to work with engineering and architectural firms in order to define what they'll build, and they're going to be bound by our development standards ordinance, obviously.
Yes, indeed, absolutely. And obviously, a big talk around town, and mostly the barrier islands, that is about obviously public access to obviously the beaches. Is there any public access by road to the beaches on Seabrook Island?
Well, it's not public access by road in the sense that the general public can come through the Property Owners Association gate.
Right.
The beach is the town's property, so of course, I call it the town's property. It's essentially the property of the state. We have authority over the beach, and I can't say that we have a challenge with people landing on the beach from the water. People do not have a right, the general public does not have a right to come through the property owner's gate, which controls access into the development. But obviously, people that are here as rental guests will have access through the gate, and guests of residents can be given access through the gate by the people that invite them to come. Our contractors obviously
Right.
serve the community. They have contractor access through the gate, and that brings in the town, because contractors have to have a business license, and in some cases, as you will appreciate, permits are required for what the contractors are doing inside the town, so they're going to have to comply with the restrictions imposed in that regard so far as being able to come in.
Yeah, and Mayor, do you all have any issues with golf carts on the island?
Well, the notion of golf carts is a little bit, I'll say, it's slightly inaccurate to refer to things as golf carts. We have two golf courses. There are golf carts for the golf courses.
Right.
Those are controlled by the club. People have what we refer to as low-speed vehicles, and they must be licensed by the state. Low-speed vehicles are allowed to operate on the streets of the Property Owners Association. Those are all private streets. They're allowed to operate on those streets, and they're allowed to operate on Seabrook Island Road outside the gate. Now, there isn't a whole lot of traffic of low-speed vehicles on Seabrook Island Road. For one thing, when you get to the traffic circle at Freshfields Village, you're not going to be able to take your low-speed vehicle and go down Betsy Harrison Parkway. Those vehicles are not adequate for the speed that's necessary for travel on Betsy Harrison Parkway. So, although they can get to Freshfields Village by access of Seabrook Island Road and the traffic circle, they can also get to the marina. But there are a couple hundred or so low-speed vehicles that are registered by property owners, but I can't say it really is causing a problem. And if you're on Seabrook Island Road where the speed limit is 35, and you're behind a low-speed vehicle, you may not be able to go 35. Be patient. That's my advice.
Yes, that's right.
It's a mile. It's 1 mile.
That's right. That's exactly right. Well, Mayor John Gregg with the Town of Seabrook Island, thank you for your time. And again, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups, and I hope to get you back on soon so we can talk about some more things that you're working on for the town as well.
All right, Quintin, thanks very much.
Oh, you're very welcome anytime.